Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRF race of the day for Sunday, July the 29th is the Grade 1 $1 million Haskell Invitational at Monmouth. It's part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series, a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Here's the field for the Haskell, a field of 7. Your morning line favorite, Matt, is the number 6, Good Magic. We don't have Justify in this race, but we have a champion and past Breeders' Cup winner, Good Magic, winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and 2-year-old champion of 2017, and he ran big in the Preakness against Justify last time.
You know what, he's run big in each of his past 3 starts. I mean, you go in that Preakness, he really took his shot. He was out there forwardly placed and didn't work out in the Preakness in that just crazy fog race. 2 starts back, he took his shot at Justify in the Derby, got turned away, but he ran a big effort. And then the Bluegrass, it was nice to see him get back to a race that was sort of more representative of what his form as a 2-year-old was. If you are the connections, if you're Chad Brown, if you're part of the ownership group, and this is no real knock against everybody else in this field, but my goodness, you could not have asked for a better return spot than this, considering who you need to face.
It just shows how super Justify was, that a horse as Good Magic was overshadowed. I mean, not only a Breeders' Cup winner, he won the prestigious Bluegrass Stakes this year, ran an excellent second in the Derby, and he tried Justify every step in that sloppy, foggy Preakness, only to be beaten a length. You could argue he ran one of the better races on Preakness weekend. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector, because Good Magic was very aggressively ridden in the Preakness, but he's also shown the ability to rake from off the pace. That red bar on your pace projector indicates that our friends at Timeform US believes that this pace will be fast, and they have Good Magic close to the pace. I don't think he needs to be right on it, and I don't think it could compromise him too much.
No, I agree with that. I think this is going to be a very cushy setup for this horse. You're drawn toward the outside. I think you let some of those speeds go, sit just off him. Jose Ortiz knows how to ride this horse. To be honest, I think you ride him like he is the best horse. Keep him out of harm's way and let him go and do his thing.
We talked about the morning line favorite. Now let's discuss the rest of the field in post-position order, beginning with the number 1, Lone Sailor. And Lone Sailor has only won 1 race from 11 lifetime starts, but he's come close in some nice spots. Second in the Grade 2 Louisiana Derby, and beaten a dirty nose by Core Beliefs, who we'll get to in a bit, in the Grade 3 Ohio Derby. He was down towards the inside in the Ohio Derby, and his lead changes got a little bit awkward, but all things considering, he ran well. When I watched that race, though, I thought that Lone Sailor's saving ground helped him, considering Core Beliefs was so wide. Lone Sailor needs pace help up front. He's a 1-run closer.
That's really what it boils down to for this horse. He's going to need an honest setup in front of him. If they, for some reason, go a moderate pace early on, it's going to compromise his chances. And the more and more I look at him, boy, it's kind of getting hard to get past, and I know he's taken on the best of his generation. It's hard to get past 1 for 11 with 4 second-place finishes and a third-place finish. I'm starting to wonder if he's a little bit more of a nibbler.
You think there's a little bit of hang in him? In the Louisiana Derby, he had a full head of steam. It looked like he was going to go by the eventual winner, Noble Indy. He did go by that horse, and he gave up the lead. Last time out, he shot through the rail while Core Beliefs had to go all the way around, and he still dropped the photo. Has he been unlucky, or has he been just a little bit less focused than his competition in the stretch?
Yeah, I think it's probably a combination of the two, but I'm leaning a little bit more toward, well, you're not really getting the job done. Like you say, that run down in Louisiana, he had a full head of steam, and perhaps it was Noble Indy battling back on the inside because he didn't see him. I'm more inclined to think it was this horse who just kind of threw it into neutral when he hit the front. And again, it's a bit of a problem. I understand he's taken on much better company, but if he has another setup where he's going to get some good pace to run at and he can't get the job done, you got to start to wonder a little bit.
The number 2 is Navy Commander, ridden by Angel Arroyo, 12-1 on the morning line, and this gelding won the local prep for the Haskell, the Long Branch Stakes, at 1 1/16. But boy, did he get a candy trip in that race. He went to the front in a short field, and get these fractions: 25-3, 51-2, 115-2. He's supposed to beat those horses with that trip. They're going to be going a heck of a lot faster in the Haskell.
I mean, it's basically, those are turf fractions, and they were doing that on the main track in the Long Branch. To me, it's a combination of things. That was about as beautiful a setup as you'll ever find for a racehorse on the front end. And also, just facts being facts, he is not nearly fast enough right now to be competitive with the best of the best in this field.
The 3 roaming union goes out for high percentage trainer Kelly Brown. His only lifetime win came at this mile and an eighth distance when on the lead, and there's a chance that he could get the lead and take it early to the good favorite Good Magic and a couple of others. Last time out in the Pegasus, a race which I thought has come back pretty weak thus far, he did some dirty work. That was a fast pace up front. He was pushing it. He made the lead, and he got tired late. I think he's okay, but I think he's also a target for Good Magic.
Yeah, I think he's just okay. But now, look, you can look at these connections. They have had success in big races in the past. Breen and the Halls, they teamed up when they had Ruler on Ice a number of years ago in the Belmont Stakes. So it's not impossible for a horse like this in these connections to fire in a big event. But at the same time, I just look and see what he's done overall, and I kind of think he's a little bit lesser than.
I think the number 4, Core Beliefs, has a big chance in this race for trainer Peter Urton. Well, no match for Justify in his first start against winners in the Santa Anita Derby. He ran great when the beaten favorite in the Grade 3 Peter Pan. He bobbled at the start. He pressed a multi-horse pace duel throughout. He still ran a good second behind Blended Citizen, who had the best of it coming from the back of the pack. In the Ohio Derby, he never got close to the rail. He gave ground every step of the way, and he was just so game to deny Lone Sailor and third finisher Trigger Warning, a horse that came back to run a 94 Beyer when second in the Indiana Derby. This horse is an up-and-comer.
He certainly is. I think in many ways he is the alternative to Good Magic in a spot like this. He continues to improve. I like that he's shown new dimensions. I was initially concerned that he was a bit of a horse that needed to be on the front end to do his best running. But that Ohio Derby, I like that he was able to show that new dimension coming from off of it, especially when you look at some of those fractions. Timeform US had the pace ratings as blue in some of those calls. So there's a part of me that thinks he is sort of the up-and-comer. If there is a logical alternative to Good Magic, it's Core Beliefs.
Graded stakes winner Bravazzo goes out for legendary Hall of Fame trainer Wayne Lucas. This horse finished ahead of Good Magic when a close second behind Justify in the Preakness. And in the Belmont Stakes, he had a tough trip. He was on the chase going after Justify for the first 6 furlongs to a mile, and he understandably faltered late. I like him cutting back to this mile and an eighth distance, and he could work out a nice trip just off the pace.
He was also kind of hemmed in down on the inside of the Belmont, and that's not a comfortable position to be in for him. I'm starting to wonder a little bit about Bravazzo, because he has run very well in the past in certain instances, but it's also hard to deny that he's taken advantage of circumstances in the past as well. I think that Preakness, the way that I had sort of laid things out, that Louisiana Derby was essentially a non-effort for a horse like this because he was so bad. So he came back, and as well as he ran in Kentucky, to me, that was sort of the tightener to get ready for the Preakness, and he ran basically the best race of his career. The Belmont, I'm not going to hold that against him. I'm just curious what his ceiling is at this point. Have we already seen his best? He's gone out 11 times. If he takes a step forward, he has a chance. I'm not convinced that we're going to get a forward move.
You scored out on the 7 Golden Brown last time out in the Grade 3 Kent Stakes at 15-1 at this distance, albeit on turf. But he's done some good things on dirt in his career, and he kind of showed some promise 2 starts back when he gave the older graded stakes horse Irish Straight all he can handle. Is he going to be this same kind of horse on dirt as he is on turf?
I can't fault the connections for taking a shot here, especially considering how short this field came up. It's a Grade 1 event, and he's a Jersey bred, and it is Jersey's biggest race for the thoroughbreds. At the same time, to me, I kind of wanted to see him in a race like the Secretariat out at Arlington Park, because I think he is a turf horse when it's all said and done. He's run well enough on the dirt in the past, but I kind of feel like he's just figuring things out on the turf. I don't think a poor effort here would do anything really bad long term, but I do think his home, when it's all said and done, is going to be on the dirt, or on the turf, excuse me. To me, though, he would be the kind of horse I'd be interested in using underneath in this race on Sunday.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series race at Monmouth on Sunday. The Grade 1 $1 million Haskell, a win and you're in for the Breeders' Cup Classic. We hate to chalk out for the folks at home. We just think Good Magic's going to get through this.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, it really just boils down to, I think he's the best horse. I think he works out arguably the best trip in here. And more importantly, not just for this race, because we know what Good Magic is capable of. He's already a Grade 1 winner. But we are in desperate need right now of this 3-year-old division for everybody to kind of sort themselves out, with Justify now retired. Good Magic has a perfect prime opportunity to kind of grab the bull by the horns and say, this is my division. Now I'm boss here, and you've got to all come and catch me.
How would you bet this race? Because you know Good Magic's going to be short odds to win.
Yeah, I have to be honest with you. I know it's a little bit unconventional. I'd probably play something along the lines of a straight trifecta of 6, 4, 7. I think Core Beliefs is very obviously the alternative to Good Magic in here, but I think a horse like Golden Brown is going to offer tremendous value in here. I think he can run underneath, and perhaps maybe I don't use him in sort of a straight bet, but I can also use the one Lone Sailor underneath. I guess the big thing for me, I'm going to try to beat Bravazzo. I'm going to try to knock him out of everything.
I have a similar opinion. I'm going to try to beat Bravazzo. My key in here is to go 6-4-1 in the Grade 1 Haskell Invitational. Again, it's part of the Breeders' Cup Challenge Series. Winning, you're in for the Classic. Best of luck.